Now, since the natural field of knowledge is reality, its function is to know reality.
That's very interesting, Socks.
We must agree on our term of reality. For the time being, we must exclude non-testable essences as something other than reality. In accordance with the sciences, to define reality we must assert that only concrete entities reside inside it and are incorporated. The thought of the soul, or feelings, are intangible. Reality is that which we perceive, and through perceiving, agree that it has a place in reality.
So you're saying the personality I have established is non-existent to the effect that it cannot be seen or felt, and therefore can create no common agreement as to its metaphysical and ontological status?
Precisely. For what is your identity other than a continuous flow and ebb of beliefs and ideals readily established, and just as readily discarded? Moments are the only vessels holding essences, and since the essences are in no part permanently attached to your physical sense, they are not real. Knowledge allows us to become objective to primitive natures, to transcend socially constructed realities, and to further our society.
You have allotted much to the function of knowledge. Can you support these claims, Socks?
I will try my best, my dear Sanhedrim, but first you must realize that to each and every truth there is an exception. There is no consistent and complete logic. We must promise not to focus on those.
Very well, but you remove my arguments from me, or at least limit them considerably with statements like that.
The way in which knowledge dissociates one from primitive natures is simple. Cliques are founded on knowledge of specific things, and the discussion of what knowledge a person holds determines the type of discourse the group they belong to has.
But what about kindness and compassion? Are these not parts of our discourse and the mode in which such things are presented to people?
Do you believe lower intelligence is an evolutionary step, or higher intelligence?
Higher intelligence.
Then let us agree that that, as well as understanding of compassion and kindness, is a part of a higher intelligence, and therefore an evolutionary step.
And what of transcending cliques? Or is this an exception?
That would be an exception. Knowledge is the foundation upon which society advances, and communities are built. If leaders are incapable of seeking knowledge or ignorant, then they are not fit to govern. Aristotle was wrong. There is no elected leader, that is a natural leader. Given the political system created in democratic countries, the leaders that are elected miss the point of their true nature, which is to lead, not to govern, marking a fine distinction between the two.
Now I'm disillusioned by democracy, but still you seem to be ignoring great leaders and focusing on the past 10 years alone.
That may be true, but you should know that there is no fair democratic election according to the mathematics of voting.
How then can we progress if our leaders aren't fit to lead, and there is no fair way of electing a new one?
Through self-governance, more power to the state, and a trust garnered by a strong foundation of knowledge not only of politics and governmental processes, but also of community development and economics.
I don't know, Socks. That seems like a real change and an idealistic hope. To say yes we can is to affirm a strong dedication to improvement, but how can we mark progress?
Here Aristotle is correct. It is through the development of friendship, something beyond reality, that can only be fostered with understanding and education.
You sound like an anarchist.
What is anarchy, but a point in which government is no longer necessary? Henry David Thoreau said that government which governs least governs best.
So anarchy would be education to the point where government is no longer necessary? How will we organize then?
I didn't say it was without problems, only that our community development relies on education and knowledge to build friendships.
I'd vote for you, Socks.
I'd never run. I'd rather build communities from inside them than above them as a person who delegates or holds a political office. But we've gotten off track. We were discussing reality. To know reality, one must recognize the eternal moment that never ceases to exist. Once this is realized, the identity becomes a multiplicity and a singular realm, realizing they are not one or many, but both as physical beings and are non-deterministic in a random world. Truth and life are both absurd, and we must recognize this to be honest with ourselves.